Welcome to another edition of Cajun Classic Cars TV, where your cars are the stars, and we've got a really pretty one today. Our episodes are brought to you by Vicari Auction. Buy your dream car at the October auction coming up at vicariauction.com. And our good friends in Baton Rouge at Goodwood Hardware and Outdoors. Check them out at goodwoodhardware.com. I'm with Mike in Toledo Bend area, and beautiful area of our state, and even prettier car. Tell us what we're looking at.
We're looking at a 2007 Saleen Mustang.
We'll find out what that's all about coming up on Cajun Classic Cars TV.
Your cars are the stars. Cajun Classic Cars TV.
We're in Toledo Bend. Let's hear about this awesome ride. Mike, before we get to talking about your car, tell us about your background and your love of cars and wheels and all that stuff, man.
Well, it started high school, 62 Ford Falcon. Got it all, souped up and all that stuff, and then had a situation where I had access to a 66 Mustang. That was the car. So anyway, I got the Mustang, ran it, through the rest of my high school years, and we did a little bit of track racing with it, quarter mile, and I decided I was going to go in service. So I thought I'd better sell the car. So I sold the car, unfortunately, to a friend of mine that put it around a tree. And this car was candy apple red.
Don't you hate when that happens?
It was candy apple red, gorgeous car. It was a show car, okay? And it's kind of funny. One day, my dad came home from work, and a friend of mine and we were pulling the motor out. And he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "We're pulling the motor out so we can paint it and then put it back in." He said, "Your car show's tomorrow." I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Why are you painting it candy apple? It's not an engine paint." And I said, "Well, I want it to look just like, be one of a kind." And I said, "I know it'll turn all maroon color, and it just won't last, but it looks gorgeous at first." And we went to that car show. I got first place for the Barron's Car Club, and that's where it all began.
Now, Mike, beside four wheels on the ground, you're kind of a two-wheel guy. Tell us a little bit about the background and, man, some of the daredevil stuff you've done.
Well, my first bike was an Interceptor. It was a Honda Interceptor. It was super fast, but it didn't turn. So I thought, I'm going to go do a couple road race schools, learn how to turn this thing. And the Slingshots by Suzuki was just coming out. It was back in 88.
Uh-huh.
And that was the suspension machine. And anyway, I ran the VFR for 1 year after I got my professional license. And then I decided to go full blast into Formula racing. I ran the WERA circuit, I ran the ARRA circuit, and we traveled all over the West Coast, and our goal was Daytona. And that was the focus. And we got almost to it, and there was a really bad accident on the track, and the one gentleman that I was dicing for points, because one of us was going to go. We were both dead on for the WERA final series. We were both had the same points. Well, unfortunately, he passed away. It was really a bad one, and nobody's ever died there. I mean, the track it's the fastest track west of the Mississippi. Turn 8 is 180 with your knee on the ground, flat, 8,000 foot radius. And I mean, if you go off, you're in trouble.
Right.
Okay. But I right at that time, I had 2 young girls at that time, and I thought, you know what? I got to take care of my kids. That was the end of the race.
So when we did the introduction here, I noticed you didn't specifically say emphasize Mustang. That's because this car is a little bit different. Right. Tell us what we're looking at. Tell us about the Saleen background, who he is. Tell us about the car and all that good stuff.
Well, Steve is a very experienced road racer, and he's built road race cars, paved road courses for years, and that's his specialty. And the cars that he puts together, it has a lot of that competition handling ability that a regular Mustang doesn't have.
Right.
And then what they do is the car is built, it's ordered, it's most likely from a dealer, and then the car goes to their facility, Saleen's facility in California. And then they pull off a lot of the stock stuff and just completely go through the suspension. They get into the motors, of course, with turbos, and they get really crazy on some of that stuff. Like the ones right now that's coming out is over 800 horsepower.
Wow.
And I mean, they're just wicked.
So would you say that for those that are into racing and stuff like that, he's certainly level in the line of a Carroll Shelby. I mean, it's for those that are into racing. Yeah,
and very similar. They're not a muscle car per se, like would be a quarter mile, street race type vehicle. These are very high geared. I mean, very high geared. So the speedometers go up to 200, and I've never gone that far.
Wink, wink to the state police. No, I'm just kidding.
But they definitely get up and go. I'm not sure what they call that, the front spoiler and the side deals. That's all built by Saleen. They have their own, each generation has their own style. And then when the new generation comes out, of course, they change it. The spoilers on the back, in this generation, they had a couple different styles. This is the style I like because on the Camaros it's similar, and their wheels are special. They're made just for the car. I like the Michelin Pilot tires. The back end, of course, this was very unique with this car, with the exhaust coming out the center, and then it also has 2 dumps that come out on the side that you can't see. The tail lights are different on Mustangs. All the Mustangs, the blink, goes blink, blink, blink.
Yep, the sequential.
Yep. On the Saleens, this is what they do. Now, some of the newer ones, they've left them the same. But what they do, they make a special light, and then they make this part here just to make the back end look a little unique. The interior, they always do them in leather that I've seen. It is their own style of that. Like I said before, the speedometer is all Saleen. They all go up to 200 miles an hour. Most of them are manual. It has the Saleen badge on the kick plate there. It has the badge right here, and with 07, number 34. This would be the 7th car built out of 34.
Tell us about the motor. Let's go up there and talk about that.
The motor is a 281 3-valve. This one, when I was looking, I did not want one with a supercharger because you just don't, in this generation, you know, this one's got 106,000 miles on it. And I mean, we drive it. You know, it's not one that just sits in the garage, and we drive it. We drive it from show to show. You know, a lot of times, you know, we go to shows and we don't even show. We just go there to, you know, admire the cars. I didn't want a supercharger because, first of all, you didn't know how it was driven. You know, what kind of abuse it had. This car was purchased by a dealer in California, and it was sat in a showroom then, and a collector purchased it in California. This car has never seen the snow. Even though we had it in Iowa, she was inside of a building, heated, her whole life that we had it. And a gentleman in Nebraska was a collector. That's how it got out to the Midwest, and he had it for a while. And then a Chevrolet dealer that they do a lot of performance, they acquired it, and they thought, well, we can, you know, maybe show it, whatever. And they decided they put it out on their lot, and fortunately that's when I seen it and said, that's got to be my car.
Unless I missed one when I was doing my video shots prior to the show, badging and all that stuff is all Saleen. There's not Mustang badging.
No.
Or Ford badging.
It's all Saleen.
Yeah.
You know, the number, this one here is number 7 of 34 built. There's a badge on the firewall. Of course, you know, Steve signed it a couple years ago, just before we moved down here. That was quite an opportunity. You got to finally, you know,
Connect the man with the car.
Yeah, exactly. And it was funny because we went to a race. It was a 1/4-mile drag strip, and when Deb went and talked to the sales guy or something, I can't remember, but he's a big dog in the company, and he said, what car do you have? And she said, we got an 07. He goes, looked around the corner, and he says, no, we're going to put you up here. So
Nice.
They put us right up on their rubber floor, right in front of their semi. I mean, it was an absolute rush.
Membership has its privileges, doesn't it?
And then, of course, you know, I sat there and talked to Steve for quite a long time. So, you know, we got to kind of know each other, and, you know, the love of what we have with these cars. And, you know, they're very unique in their own way, you know, similar to the Cobras and stuff like that. But they don't have they're not set up for the, you know, 1/4-mile, you know, crazy stuff, you know. These are set for handling ability. That's what's nice about here. There's no straight roads in Louisiana. And it's a blast to drive because all our roads are crooked, and, you know, we got uphill, down.
And sometimes that's on purpose.
And we will pick roads that we can get out there and let her drift a little bit, you know. Would you like to hear it run?
Absolutely. Let's do it. thank you so much for sharing the love of your car, your history of your motorcycle racing, and of course this rare Saleen, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure to be here around the lake at Toledo Bend once again. And our programming on Cajun Classic Cars TV is brought to you in part by Vicari Auction. Check them out at vicariauction.com. And, of course, Goodwood Hardware and Outdoors in Baton Rouge at goodwoodhardware.com. Become a sponsor. Just email me at Brian at Cajun Classic Cars TV. We'll see you next time on the road.